Join with me today is Jackson Looseyia, a man who was born into the Maasai tribe. He went on to become a Maasai warrior and then as a safari guide in Kenya. After his success as a safari guide, he is now the only Maasai descent that owns and runs luxury diaries, Big Cat Tales, and Human Planet, and he's graciously decided to join us today for a chat. We also have his business partner, Sailaash Marampi. A very, very warm welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed for having us.
Can you both tell me about your background and how you became a safari guide?
Well, we started as young warriors to begin with. When we were young men, we've got to learn how to survive in a very dangerous environment that's full of wildlife, creeping with critters of all different kind. You've got to learn, and that's also survival tactics that nature have to teach you and prepare you for the bigger thing. So we started as young boys. You will be given some responsibilities, like your father will say, go and look after young cows and young goats, and then you graduate from there, go and look after calves, bigger calves, which venture and go further, and then you'll be given another task and go and look after cows. And the hardest of all is sheep. If you're given the job to look after sheep, you are one of the most trusted men, because sheep are small, vulnerable, easy to pick, easy to steal from the hyenas, jackals, vultures, eagles, and also any other thing that might come across a sheep. It's easy. You put on your beggar if you're a man, and you run into the bush. So it's a much harder task to be given. When you're given to look after cows, then you are now looking the core of the economy of the family. As you know, cows is the hard currency in our culture. So that means if anybody wants to now come and steal your cows, steal your father's cows, and if you lose one, you are now is a big loser in terms of you have failed the family. So now, after that, you learn as a man to survive. Where you take cows, there are lions, there are buffalo, hippopotamus, elephants. The list goes on. And those are big game that are very dangerous. And you learn the tracks and the sounds and how to do it.
We are brought up in a society that's gregarious, it's so social and it's family-oriented. I am 1 out of 10, brought up in the same village as Jackson. When we talk of the village in our part of the world, it's not a very small area, not a big area. It's probably Jackson was just like 2 miles away from me. And so because of this family orientation, everybody knew everybody. And everybody was related to the other one way or the other. So we had a fortunate opportunity between the two of us to have had a chance to go to school. And in our times, if you even finished elementary schooling, your parents will clap hands and ululate and say, our kid is educated. And we know it's not a lot of education, but we capitalized on that and incorporated the cultural practices and the ways that our parents and community taught us, because as Jackson said, you get given responsibility from the word go. You actually start looking after the little lambs at home. And that is a way of opening up what's waiting ahead for you in the community. And it's not easy because it's not paddock, it's not tethered, it's not like under fences. So you go out and take care of these animals out in the bushes with the wildlife, right?
And you have hyenas that can steal, leopard that are first, you come home and some elders are trying to count and said, where is a sheep so and so? We also name our animals. We name our cows, we name the sheep and the goats. And, when somebody track it up, is up a tree and realize you're in big trouble.
If you sleep on the job, you pay for your consequences. The consequences are not that nice. So you get trained to take care of yourself, be wary of your environment, but at the same time respect it. Because had it not been for that respect, we wouldn't have as much wildlife, flora and fauna to conserve in areas that we are. And it's quite interesting how people who practice animal husbandry like the Maasai's do, if you look at it in the whole of my country, some of the richest ecosystem and biodiversity in my part of the world are inhabited by the same people whose culture revolves around life. So quite interesting, because when we grew up, we kind of went slightly different ways in search for greener pastures. We had a very humble background, the both of us. And so in my community, you kind of have a responsibility when you become an adult. And in every society you do. You have to take care of yourself. You want to make yourself advance and make yourself a better life than you had when you were young. And you take care of the elderly. And when you become a man in my community, the elder, the parents will tell you, wake up, you are now a man. So you go and take care of yourself and take care of us. Right. Anyway, I also went out, and quite interestingly, while he was guiding on one end of the spectrum, I was also guiding in the other end of the spectrum. And so I was a watchman, and when life brought us together, I mean, basically the trajectory came back together, and we were at some point working together, and he was a guide, and I came back having learned through the school of hard knocks. You become a watchman because you get tested how good you are and how willing you are to be flexible. And then I worked in the housekeeping department. I worked as a waiter, and kind of step by step, walked my step up the ladder and learned to become a guide the same way. Really, the same way. Never went to school. Jackson never went to guiding school. It is just basically sitting down and dedicating that little extra time you had away from your normal paying duty and work to learn by incorporating cultural knowledge in the books around you. And sometimes I'll be waiting, and then when I get a little break, I go and get the books and try and compare the two knowledges, the scientific and the traditional knowledge, and bring it together. I know that that is what I can let people know when they come through, and so learn to become a guide that way.
Okay. So can you tell us something about your journey to owning and running your own lodges? How does your cultural background influence the way you run your business?
Actually, there's a lot of culture, a lot of attributes that I owe it to that, because you brought up in a society that's respectful, that hard work is championed and marshaled, that you gotta be a hard worker, you better be trustworthy, you better be a honest person, and all the positive attributes of a good person. Mm-hmm. And if you own them, number one being working hard and fearless at the same time, because if you think about it,
we're warriors, you know.
We are warriors.
Which warrior would be fearful? You know, the thing is, you don't have a reverse gear, and if you're to lose, well, as a warrior, you don't know when you're going to lose your life anyway. So why fear anything? And so we are real warriors, and we didn't have anything to fear. Go ahead.
So yeah, we got into that venture with all those attributes with us, and you know, after being guides and guiding together, Jackson and I felt like we'd hit the ceiling. And so what else do we have to do? We wanted to do things for ourselves where we will be sitting on the seat of decision making, in that organ whether you make decision. And we also want to do things that will transform lives, not only of us and our families, but of the people around us. Mm-hmm. And what other better way there was other than to venture off and do what not too many Maasai's do.
And you know, to start a business is not very easy. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. You know, I've climbed Kilimanjaro, and I thought physically that was the most challenging thing I've ever done as a man, to go and climb into the cold country. You come down, can't even breathe properly, you can't think properly. But when I started business, there were so many difficult things. How do you start? First of all, we would have not known how to do this without the help of others. we attach ourselves to other entrepreneurs who did this business before us, and we become their assistants or minority shareholders, and we build our time and we build our capacity of how things are done. For example, how do you get linen in a travel industry? How do you get food? What do these people that we are asking to come on safari, what do they eat? You know, we meet up with vegans, we meet up with vegetarian, pescatarian, and the list goes on for the people who are in the travel or in the hospitality business in tourism.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is that, you know, in life, everybody needs somebody to hold his or hands along the way. And on our journey to owning this business that has brought us up here, and that's made it possible for us to be able to talk to each other, there was somebody along the way. And in the case of my particular case is that I worked in the same company as Jackson, and Jackson alongside other gentlemen are the people that I owe my being who I am for now. And when we got into this business, the fact that he also saw me grow, and I've always worked with him in a very honest and diligent manner, he said, let's do it. And he already had another camp, he already had another business. And we got into it, and it's not a bed of roses. It really is interesting, it's fun, it can be hard. And a few times you feel like you're sinking. And I turn around and tell him, Jackson, we're sinking. And he says, don't worry, we ain't sinking. And if you sink, you're not gonna drown.
So let's talk about like the experience of staying at one of your lodges. How do you guys go about educating your guests on responsible, sustainable tourism practices, given the region that you guys are based in?
That's very, to us, it's easy because we will just be doing what is expected of us. And we will be doing something that's very close to our hearts. We will be doing something that we know we will transform the guests and the people around them and us. So easy way is that when they come over to our place, first of all, the land that we are playing in belongs to the community. And the first step towards being a responsible traveler is to come and spend time there, because that dollar that you spend to come and stay with us trickles down to impacting very positively and building capacity and uplifting the standard of the people around that piece of land and that community by means of education, promotion of education, by means of trying to come up with ideas of getting the community around there good and hygienic water, by bringing bread and butter to the table, because in our part of the world, the basic need of even having food on the table is a struggle. So our existence there also means that we employ the local community, which is a non-brainer. You employ somebody, they get salary, and then they take care of their family and probably 3 or 4 other people indirectly. So,
and on the other hand, we also have to make our guests very comfortable in the food. You know, and when it comes to food, most people think, oh, we're going to Africa and probably we're going to be fed milk and lactose intolerance. No, we're not going to have vegetables. I'm going to have only meat because we are Maasai, and the Maasai eat only meat. We're going to feed you whatever you want. You could be vegetarian, pescatarian. You could be lactose intolerant, wheat allergies, and so on. We cater for all of that, and we feed you the best of the best food you can ever imagine. If you want cheese, got it. If you want fruits, it could be an apple. It could be you can dream of anything that you have here. Be at home and be my guest when you come over there. You're going to be comfortable.
Every little minor detail that contributes to comfortability when you are there, but at the same time being rustic, feel like you're in the camp. It's taken care of. Every little thing. You know, you come there for fun and holiday, and you need a home away from home. And Marasiana is the place.
Could you share some of the best reactions you've seen from guests during your stay at your lodges?
Well, I think in my opinion, over many, many years of experience, I've been doing this for nearly 35 years. And a majority of the guests say, well, I came to Kenya or Masai Mara for animals, but actually I've come here and realized the people are back. The people, the cultural experience over and over. No matter how we can explain to people that that lion is wonderful, that elephant family is incredible, the culture still it's still rated at the very top, being they are the highlight of their trip. People come expecting something and they go home completely transformed, completely changed, including their children. You know, people come with their families and they come with their children, they come with their grandchildren. And the moment they arrive, they realize they've just arrived into home. Africa is home to all of us. We all started there. The cradle of mankind started in Africa. And therefore, the moment there is spiritual, people love it. And we transform lives and make other people come more. We have repeat every single month. There is no month I don't have more than 2 or 3 repeats of couples who are saying, I cannot stay anymore without coming back again.
And I remember so vividly one day we were watching a leopard with a group of very senior clients from America. And one of them, out of the blues, broke the silence because we were all sitting down enjoying this beautiful God-made creature. And one said, well, I know that I don't want to die. If I die right now, I'll die a happy human being. That's my best reaction. I was amazed.
There are a lot of things that people are overwhelmed, but you're there as a real teacher, like you're getting kids, nursery starting, who have never ever been on safari, have no idea what it is. And we don't get annoyed. We just love it. We are there to teach. We are there to grow customers that bring more of their families because it's an amazing experience.
Okay. You actually mentioned earlier that Masai Mara is one of the richest ecosystems, right, in East Africa. How important is it that tourists come to learn about the fragile nature of the ecosystems and the region that you work and live in?
I would say majority of people, particularly, somebody who come from anywhere, it could be Asia, it could be Europe, or it could be even some cities in Africa. When they arrive and we're driving and we stop because the ants are crossing the road. He said, what, ants? You stop for the ants? He said, yes. And when we stop and move a tortoise because it is walking too slowly on the road and put it to the side. When we divert because a hyena is sleeping on the road in a puddle of water and we don't want to touch it, that's when they wake up and saying, it really matters. A lot of people, when they come there, they want to kill everything. I want to kill the termites, I want to kill the beetles, I want to kill the insects, I said, no, nothing to be killed. We try as much as possible to educate these people and everybody that comes to us that everything matters. There's nothing that God has created without a purpose, without a reason. It could be a bird, it could be a grasshopper, it could be a snake, it could be a crocodile. All of them are important and they're fragile within our nature.
You're absolutely right. And the biodiversity and the ecosystem is so well choreographed or so well made such that if we as a species come in and try to think that we know better and we pull out and put in things, it is very wrong. And so what we try and tell people is that whatever you do, take anything other than pictures and leave anything other than footprints. Because if people are so much inclined to want to pick something and take something and put into the bag, I want to put that, or, oh, I saw a spider in my room.
God, kill it for me.
God, please kill. That spider takes care of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you want? Want to be bitten by a mosquito and die of malaria, or just hang on with a spider that's only interested in being on the wall? So it is so perfectly made. And that is what we as guides and conservationists try and send home to people, that just leave it the way it is. Try as much as possible not to affect or destroy or try and bring about your know-how. Leave it the way it is, because it's gonna take care of itself.
Is there anything you guys anything left? Anything else you guys want to share with me?
Yes, a lot.
Oh, really?
Well, one thing is, we want you to come to the Masai Mara, and we want you to spend time in Marasiana, because
me?
you and everybody in America,
Okay.
we want to make sure that you come and give it a trial. Come and experience this magical place. Come and stay with us, because by so doing, as I said in the beginning of the conversation, it's unbelievable how far that dollar goes. I'm saying this just on a very, very conservation and basically capacity building point of view. You come to enjoy your time there. It creates business for us, creates employment for the local community, bring food and food and butter to the table, improve education, bring about business opportunities, and it becomes a win-win case for everybody.
Yeah, to close it up is, I would say, having been on safari for many years and met people from all over, every now and then somebody say, how may I help? There is many, many ways of helping. Come and spend time. That's one of them. The other is, you can also be a participant. In conservation, there is so much to be done. The rangers need their shoes. They need their food on a daily basis. They need vehicles to move from A to B. The rangers need to protect those wildlife for all of us, for your children, for me, and for everybody else. How you may help, you can also look for us in a way of that you could also donate. You can be donated to WWF, you can donate to us, you can, whatever that nature that is going to be good for you, for your cause. You could see, I dedicate my donation to go to the community. Then that goes to the community. I want the wildlife to survive. Then we do that. So therefore, if you are interested and said, I would like to participate, I'm unable to come, you could be not able to come physically because you are physically challenged, you could easily be there through your participation of donating to the right cause and making sure that wildlife thrive for generations to come.
And I think what Americans don't realize is that education in Kenya is not free. It costs money, right?
Yes.
So not every family can afford to send their children to get a full education.
Yes, and I would also like to add on the soft part. We know I and Sailaash are fathers of daughters, and we look after both our daughters and our sons, and we make sure that they go to school. It's not equal opportunities for all the families. Sometimes we take care of the vulnerable. We can see some of these young ladies are really potential in their life. We say, right, we got to help them. We have to bring the equality of both genders up. And that's what we are as fathers of daughters. So through your participation coming up, you could see for yourself. You can go and check it yourself and enjoy, the safari, as well as learning about how people survive there. So it's very important for that.
Giving opportunity to both the children, the girl and the boy, because a few times when you go to other parts of the community, the boy probably has a better chance than the girl. But us guys, big players in trying to make sure that we equalize that playing ground. All kids should have equal opportunities in the world.
And so we're not only on business as the first ones, we are also part of the people who think forward, making sure that, you know, our ladies equally have the same rights and our sons have the same equal rights. And also the community can look at us and say, those guys, they've done it right. We're not perfect, but we try. That's better try than nothing.
So if any of your daughters are interested in running or working for you in your luxury tourism business, would you let them?
Yes. In fact, as we speak right now, Marasiana, if you Google, the manager is my daughter. And so she's graduated from university and major in finance. And so she's now running the show. And also Sailaash has got his daughter. She's still in high school. She's 24 years old, and she's finished. She's now on college on the process. And you know, when she finishes, she probably will be the next one will be coming. The next generation is coming. That's without it. And we will not deny any of our children to join us in this business.
I'm sure they know it too. Sailaash and Jackson, thank you very much for joining us at Amazing TV. We really appreciate it, and hopefully one day we can interview you again.
Thank you, Simi.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for
and
your
I
time.
hope that our paths will cross again.
Most definitely.